Okay. Bonjour, Mademoiselle Heller.
Oh, je mange de la pizza. Bonjour, Madame Carpinella.
So I have a question for you, Mademoiselle Heller. What would you do if you were learning a new verb tense?
Well, I would watch the Ed Puzzle YouTube notes, and I would ask questions in class, and I might even come stay after school to get some clarification if I didn't really understand it.
Excellent. Those are all good things that you would do if you were learning a new tense.
Yeah.
So today we're going to learn the conditional.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty new tense for me, I think.
Yep, and it's used for hypothetical situations.
Oh, okay.
So if I can change the slide, that'd be good. So the conditionnel expresses what would happen in hypothetical situations. So Miss Heller, Mademoiselle Heller, why don't you take a look at these sentences and tell me what you think they mean?
Okay. So je suis végétarienne, donc je ne mangerai jamais de la viande. And I think that means I am vegetarian, so I want to say I never eat meat, but you're telling me, I mean, I know this isn't the present tense, so it can't be I never eat meat. And if I look at the top and listen to what you said, it's what would happen in a hypothetical situation. So I guess I would say that this is I would never eat meat.
Great job. Très bien.
Okay. And then entre le chocolat et la vanille, je voudrais le chocolat. So between chocolate and vanilla, I would choose chocolate.
I want you to look at voudrais again because I think you've seen that before.
Oh, you're right, Madame. In middle school, we learned how to say, how to go to a restaurant and order food. And you say je voudrais un sandwich, or je voudrais un citron pressé or something like that. So I guess this is I would like, or I would want this.
Exactly.
Okay. And then, je n'irai pas à une fête chez Mademoiselle Heller. And I remember this looks actually we did notes on the future, and it looks the same as the future, will go. So I guess this is I wouldn't go to a party at my own house.
It's COVID. There's no parties.
That's true. Yeah. No more parties. No. Yeah. And then, je ne ferai pas, I wouldn't do, oh, well, it's faire une promenade, so I wouldn't go for a walk in this case. Pendant une tempête de neige. Oh, okay, I wouldn't go for a walk during a snowstorm.
Excellent. Très bien. So this is how to use the conditional or the would tense in hypothetical situations. But there is another very, very common use of the conditional.
Oh, okay.
Which is, what would happen if circumstances were different? So, j'achèterais une grande maison si j'étais plus riche. What do you think that means?
I would buy a big house if I were more rich, if I were richer.
Excellent. Si j'avais un chien, je l'adorerais beaucoup.
If I had, I guess, if I had a dog, I would adore him a lot.
Oui, bon. But we both know that we have cats, so.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I know. I adore them a lot, even though they're little stinkers.
Yes, me too. Mine are Si je faisais mes devoirs, je sortirais avec mes amis.
Okay, so if I It's not like we're doing. It's if I did my homework. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. If I did my homework, I would go out with my friends.
Oui, très bien.
Mm-hmm.
Et si j'allais au resto, je prendrais un verre.
If I went to a restaurant, I would take a glass.
You're on the right track. Prendre un verre is an expression in French that means to have a drink.
Oh, okay. So if I went to a restaurant, I would have a drink.
Oui, oui, très
Yeah.
bien.
Okay.
What's a common word that you notice in all of these sentences on this slide?
Oh, well, I do notice that like there's the word see. So like the three of the sentences start with the word see, which I remember is if, and then actually the first sentence like has the word see in it, but it doesn't start with it.
Good. Excellent. So, excuse me. See clauses are very common in French, but they also have very specific patterns that we use. You mentioned that you saw the word see when we were learning about the future tense, and that's not incorrect. We do use see with the future tense often. We also use it frequently with the conditional tense. So if we just take a look here, the summary of if clauses, if is see, so the if clause is the see clause, and then the result is what happens when that if clause takes place, okay? So in French, if the if clause is in the present tense, then the result will be in the future. If the if clause were in the imparfait, then the result clause would be in the conditional.
Oh, okay. So if the see clause is in the present, the result clause will be in the future. And if the see clause were in the imparfait, the result clause would be in the conditional.
Exactly.
And so then, Madame, can I have you go back one slide? Because I guess that gives me a
course.
question. So like, the first sentence doesn't look like the other ones. Like it's like flip-flopped. And I guess, is that okay? Does that still work? Like,
It's perfectly fine. The if clause can come either at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. What's important is the verb that's connected to if.
okay, so like for the first one, the verb that's connected to if is jeter.
Correct.
Okay, but the second sentence, the verb that's connected to if is j'avais.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason I set our chart up like this is because I always remember Pink Floyd is cool.
Oh, okay.
If you like Pink Floyd, there you have it.
Yeah.
So let's take a minute now to talk about how to form the conditional. It's actually pretty easy to form. If you want to look at these are all in the je form, and try to pick them apart a little and see how I created that, how I conjugated that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at like the regular side, and this is doing like the same thing that the verbs in the future tense did, I think, because we have like parlay, the infinitive, but then you just have letters after that, like you just put the ending on it. And same with choisir. And I guess the same thing is true with mettre, but like there's no E, that E disappeared. And then on the right-hand side, like j'irai, je serai, j'aurai, je ferai, those ones are all on our notes from the future. Like je voudrais wasn't, but maybe like most of the verbs that are irregular in the future are also irregular in the conditional, maybe?
That's absolutely right. The conditional is made using the future stem, which as we know now, usually is the infinitive of the verb. Parler, choisir, mettre, without the E. Or if it's one of the few irregulars we've learned, it's still the same stem for the future and for the imperfect. I mean, the
Oh,
conditional, sorry.
the future and the conditional. Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Yep. The future and the conditional.
Oh, you know what though, Madame Carpanella? Like you just said the imperfect, and I think I noticed something else. Like je parlerai, even though it's conjugated like the future because we're just like attaching it, isn't AIS the imperfect, the imparfait ending?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And
And so
so,
that's what makes the conditional so easy, is that it's actually a combination of the future, the stem from the future, and the imperfect, the endings from the imperfect.
oh, okay.
So let's go to our last slide now and see if, knowing that, you can match up all the endings with the subject pronouns.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we have the verb nager and all these endings are on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the imparfait. And so je nagerai with an AIS, and the form tu nagerai should also be AIS.
Mm-hmm.
And then il nagerait, AIT. And is that right? Those are all pronounced the same?
They sure are.
Oh, okay. And then nous nagerions,
Mm-hmm.
vous nageriez, and il nagerait.
Mm-hmm.
And il nagerait plural is pronounced the same as il nagerait not plural.
It sure is.
Oh, that's so confusing.
A little bit, yep. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think I have any questions right now, but if I do, I'll put them in the ed puzzle or ask them to in class for sure.
Excellent. Au revoir.
Au revoir, merci.